guys, welcome to my channel. Today is Saturday. Yesterday was VE Day. As it's the bank holiday weekend, I thought to do something really cool that I've never done before and something from my childhood. So let me show you what we're going to do. So today I'll be making raspberry and plum jam. So I've got one whole lemon juice, 500 grams of raspberries, 500 grams of cooking plums. These plums, I defrosted them out from the freezer. This is 21 plums, halved and stoned. We've got 1 kilogram of granulated sugar. That's everyday sugar right there. That's 500 grams of packets of sugar. For the bread, I'll be making mini rolls as well. So I've got 500 grams of strong white flour, 2 sachet of yeast, and some caster sugar. What you want to do first is this. You want to tip all your sugar into your saucepan, and you also want to tip in your plums. So what you want to do is you want to keep this on medium heat until the sugar has dissolved. You also want to tip half of your raspberries in. So, like I said, until the sugar has dissolved, we can carry on to the next step. So your plum and raspberries should look like this in the sugar. So as it's dissolving, you'll find that your sugar looks very liquidy, like so. And what you want to do is basically keep stirring the mix together. That way it incorporates the fruits in. This is the very first time I've ever made jam at home, guys. So I'm really chuffed to be doing this. You know, quarantine cooking and baking, you need to, if you have all these fruits at home, it's always good to make something out of them. Looking at our sugar now, we can see it's completely dissolved because your liquid is completely runny, which is good. So what you want to do next, you want to turn your gas to the very lowest as it is and simmer this mix of raspberries and plum until it's tender. So what you want to do is simply just put a lid on it and let it simmer for 5 minutes. So checking back on our jam, you can see that it's bubbling over there, which is nice. So what you can do to test this is you can just get your wooden spoon and you can press your plums down into the saucepan. This shows that your jam's ready, which is great. So now what you want to do, you want to now just pour in the rest of your raspberries and cook this also for a few more minutes. Change the heat to the highest on my gas. So what you want to do is get a hold of a food thermometer like I have here, and you want to turn this on and bring this jam to 104 degrees. At the moment, as we can see, it's at 57.3, so it's reaching up. So 104 is what we want to get it to. I thought to show you guys what we are on. We're on 101.2 so far, so we're not there yet. This is a serious part of cooking because it's really hot. Sticking your jam thermometer right in, and each time you move it, the numbers go up and it goes down. It's because your plums are cooking each time, that's why. But for you to get your jam, this is what you've got to do. So we are still at 100.7. As you can see, our jam is bubbling over, which means the raspberries have dissolved, and the sugar water is becoming very liquidy. My kitchen smells amazing, guys. The thermometer is at 100.3, so that means the less liquid you get, the higher the bubbling number goes up to. This must be one of the toughest videos I have ever made, ever. Literally. Toughest. 97.6. It's good for you to put your thermometer right into the middle of the jam and put it to the very points as well, because the numbers do change, as you can see there. It literally got to 104, guys. I'm so happy. I wish I could show you, but I'd have to put the gas on again, so I turned it off. Look at my gas cooker, all spotty, but I'm really happy. Right now, because I turned the gas off, it's showing at 100.3, 0.8, 0.2, 0.4, 3.5, 103.5. So I will wait to, yeah, so it did get to 104, but really chuffed, guys. Really chuffed. There's two ways that you can check your jam is ready. One way is basically using a food thermometer and sticking the end into your jam and monitoring it through the panel. Or what I've done, another way, you can use a cold plate. I've kept this in the fridge for about 15 minutes now. So what you do is this. You simply pour your jam onto it. Wait for it to set. When it's all set, get your finger and push it through, and that's it. Now allow your jam to cool for 5 minutes before you can put them into your jars. I have been collecting these jars for a long time, guys. So as it's a quarantine time, I can put my jam in jars. I'm so happy. Yeah, so I'm going to wait and I will show you how it looks like in the lovely jars of mine. So I'll be giving some of these to my neighbors today because I'm so amazing and it's a good thing to do. Before you set out to make your jam at home, it's always important to sterilize your jam jars. So what I did was I soaked them in soapy water for 2 days and I washed each jar out itself. So now when this is cooled down, I will put them into here. Hello, I forgot to add the lemon juice, but my jam looks perfect. So I'm not going to worry, I'm just going to drink it. Well, for you to add your jam into your jars, you should use a teaspoon and a tablespoon. So I'm going to do that. I'll be right back. Guys, here is our jam. It's always good to reuse your glass jars whenever you've got them at home. So with this jam, you can store it in the fridge up to 6 months, or store it in a cold larder, like a storage cupboard, if you've got one at home. Now that our jam's cooling, we can bake our bread. So what you want to do first is this. You want to oil up a baking tray, and you want to boil a kettle and measure out 300 ml of water. But you don't want to use hot water, you want your water to be warm. As you can see, it's steaming up still. So I've set my timer from when I boiled this to let the water cool for 10 minutes. So you want to also get your caster sugar out as well. And we are using 500 grams of soft, strong white flour. And we've got 2 sachets of yeast there. And we'll be using our 1 teaspoon to measure out 2 teaspoons of caster sugar. Also went ahead to grease some cling film by using my pastry brush. So my cling film is what we're going to use to cover the bread at its as it is proofing. So I'll show you what the proofing method is, and yeah, so let's get to it. Sifted the 500 grams of soft white strong flour. Also, what you want to do is you want to use your 1 teaspoon to measure out 2 teaspoons of salt and sift that in as well at the same time. And sift. You want to mix the salt in lightly with your flour, like so. Now you want to also get 2 teaspoons of caster sugar and add that in and open up your yeast and basically put that into it. So now that our yeast is in, you just want to mix it together into the flour, the salt, the sugar. All done, that's it. Now make a well into the middle. We're making a well because we're going to add our water in. Add your water in gradually. Go back to using your wooden spoon to fold this in until it forms into a dough. I'll be right back. You can see it's formed into a dough. So what you want to do is put some flour onto your worktop and bring all this out and knead. You would need to knead this bread flour for 10 minutes. So the kneading works like this. You need to push your flour through. It may seem sticky, that's fine, it's perfectly normal. Keep kneading. Use your palms. Stretch the flour out each time. Grab some more flour from the bag and keep working that into your bread dough. Until your 10 minutes is up. It really helps if you use your alarm and set a timer for this. That's what I do. This takes me back to school times when we made our own bread from scratch. So to knead your dough, the tip is to use your palm, work it, work it, work it, stretch, move it round until your dough forms. As you can see, my hands aren't sticky anymore. That means it's working. Use your palms, knead, knead. So our dough is nice and smooth. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut this up and make it into rolls. So I'll be making 8 rolls today, guys. Our dough cut up into 8, guys. So to make them into rolls, you want to shape them into a ball like this. So this is my lovely 8 rolls. So now I'm going to tell you about the proving method. What you want to do is you want to get your cling film that we ordered earlier, cut it with some scissors and put this on top of your rolled out bread dough. I'll be right back. So the proving method is simply to let your dough balls sit in a warm place so they can rise. I have preheated my gas oven to number 7. Number 7 is 220 Celsius and 200 Fahrenheit. So in 45 minutes, we'll see our doughs rising. Have a look at our rolls, guys. They look a bit you know, out of shape because they don't look like rolls no more. But I'm happy because this is the first time I've baked bread in forever. So I guess practice makes perfect. This is the start of many breads that I will bake. So we have 19 minutes left of the proving to let our bread rise. So as you can see, the bag itself, it's completely like floating. It feels like it's floating. So I am back to now bake my rolls. As you can see, it's completely risen, and when you touch it, it's so bouncy, which is nice. So now we're going to bake this in the oven for 19 minutes. These are gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, guys. It just came out of the oven. My kitchen smells amazing, and as you can see, it's nice. So I can't wait to butter this up. You want to let this cool for 2 minutes before you take it out, okay? There you have it, guys. Homemade jam and homemade bread. I am a happy woman.